Hey, party people, and welcome to this episode of But Are You Weird? A podcast dedicated to spending time talking with some creative, captivating, and downright cool people, diving into their world and ultimately asking, but are you weird? I'm Amanda, your host and resident weirdo, and I'm so happy that you're here. And our guest on this episode is Amanda. Yay! As I was doing the intro, I was like 3 steps ahead of myself trying to think of how I would creatively introduce you. For all we know, people think it's me talking to myself, but no, it's me talking to you.
When you sent out the form for some info and it said, how do you want to be referred to? I was like, do I say the other Amanda? Amanda 2? Amanda H?
I think you're the original. I can't believe I'm saying that. But
wow,
I think
okay.
You're just so cool. I'm not like totally fangirling, but I'm like seriously so excited that you're on the show because I just think you're so great. But I'm gonna save that for a little bit. How about you introduce yourself? Tell us who you are, what you do, what's meaningful to you, however you want to interpret the question.
Sure. So I'm Amanda Harrison. I am an Eastern Mass native who's a Western Mass transplant. I came out here to go to undergrad and met my husband and thought, let's spend a year living in Northampton after we graduate. And here we are many years later. And I've built a pretty sweet little life out here. I have 3 kids. They're 18, 14, and 12. I have the very best cat on earth, Manny. He's an orange cat, and he's converted me to being a cat lover, or a Manny lover, I guess. And professionally, I am a licensed mental health counselor, and my specialty has always been working with children and youth. And so my role now is as an administrator with a small nonprofit out here in Western Mass, where I get to work with kids and families, supervise staff, work on policy development, create new programs. It's pretty much my dream job.
Yeah. And that's actually how we were connected with one another. Well, that's one of the ways that we've been connected. We've been able to collaborate on some other fun projects together.
Yeah. Yes.
I literally was typing as you were speaking because there were so many things that I'm like, oh, I got to ask her about that. I got to ask her about that. I didn't know you were from Eastern Mass.
Yes.
Where are you from?
Gloucester.
Oh, like real, like just about as far east.
Pretty much
the ocean.
Yeah, in the ocean. I grew up in even in like the eastern part of Gloucester. So I was raised there. I'm an ocean girl at heart. I still have family out there, so I go back as much as I can to see my family and my friends. And, sometimes you just need to breathe in the salt air.
And now that I think about it, your husband, he has an interesting trade that he's involved with, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So what
does he do?
He has been doing tree work for several years now. We sort of have a diversified portfolio, Amanda, where we have a few different areas of interest and income, and doing residential tree work has been something and that he's been passionate about. And he was selling firewood for a while, and, he's at a point in his life now where he's trying to figure out next steps. And we've been there before, really trying to prioritize our family and our emotional health and having time for fun while also, paying the old bills.
Mm-hmm. I just think here you are, like this ocean mermaid who meets this lumberjack man from the woods.
Yes. Yeah. And it's funny you say that, because now I have found a passion in lumberjacking. And with Nate, and Nate's my husband, he and I, with our 2 best friends, run the Western Mass Lumberjack Championship every year at the Cummington Fair. We've been doing it since 2019. And so it's amazing. There's axe throwing, there's speed saw events, there's modified saw events, there's chopping events. And you might even see me out there jumping in when a Jill is needed in the Jack and Jill events.
Wow. I know nothing about that world. All I can think about I don't know if it used to be on TV. Maybe I'm getting like World's Strongest Man and other stuff. Okay, so I am remembering correctly, like the tree-related lumberjack stuff.
There's tons of stuff like out on the West Coast. They have huge like national competitions. Ours is much more like small fair events, but we have people who travel from a lot of different states to come do it. It's the last Sunday of the Cummington Fair every year. So if you are curious, you could come and check it out. It's really fun.
Okay.
I'm the MC, so I try and keep it fun and interactive, and people learn a lot, and it's a great way to spend a day. Very, very unique. I might even say weird.
I would definitely say weird. Pardon me if I'm being ignorant, but is there a lot of flannel?
There's actually not a ton of flannel because it's the last weekend in August. So we're super
so
hot.
A little toasty. Okay.
You know, there's, we have custom T-shirts every year that a girlfriend of mine who owns a screen printing company helps us. She designed it and prints them for us, but tends to be T-shirts on top, and then a lot of protective gear on the legs and the feet, and, you know, chain mail and, you know, chaps and that sort of a thing.
Oh, that's so much fun.
Yeah.
What was it like the first year? You said 2019 was the first year you did it?
It was terrifying, Amanda.
I can only imagine.
We took it over from two of they're still competitors. They had been doing it for years and years, and they were ready to pass over the torch. So they approached my husband and his best friend, and we were incredibly ill-equipped and ill-prepared. And if this isn't an indicator how unprepared we were, I wore a skirt that year. Because it's going to be hot and I like skirts. And now I look at that picture and I laugh.
Oh, man. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, that's growth for you.
Yeah. Every year we tighten it up. We make it a little better. We've got things digitized, you know, new events, more competitors than we've ever had. And it's fun. It's just awesome.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I think it's so great that I had no idea. And this is how we're starting the episode.
I love that. Yep.
All right. So mermaid plus lumberjack equals the competition there and carrying it on. Are there kid events?
There aren't yet. That's one area once we really feel secure that we've like got everything down, you know, because people take this kind of seriously. So we've really tried to make sure that we're running all the events like in the truest way they're supposed to be. And we've got all the scoring down, and we've got, you know, the smoothest registration process. And the next step, we'd love to pair up with one of the Voc Ag schools out here and maybe start with some of their students who are in forestry department and things like that to start to kind of encourage the younger generation to get involved. Because it is sort of, you know, we've got some folks who've come in who are, we're doing it at the collegiate level. But, you know, we want to get young people interested in this fun and quirky sport.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I'm just thinking first of all, I'm assuming are there spectators at the event?
Oh, yes. We have fans, Amanda. We have fans.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm just thinking it seems like such a fun thing for a family to do.
Yeah.
And so I think like the kids would love to see it, but like kids seeing other kids and being like, wow, I want to be like that. I want to do that cool thing.
Yeah. No, that's the dream to get there eventually.
The other thing that you mentioned in your little intro is that you said the very best cat on earth.
Yes.
Manny.
Yeah.
And he's an orange cat.
Yep.
And first of all, I have to say when you said that, I was like, okay, I'll give her very best cat on earth because my Peanut has since passed and I loved my Peanut dearly. And so to hear you talk about your cat just made me think like, oh my God, and she loves cats? Like she is so great.
I don't want to misrepresent myself, Amanda. I don't love cats.
Okay.
I love Manny.
You love Manny.
So
you were not a cat person before Manny?
This surprises a lot of people when I say it because I'm a fairly like I consider myself to be a pretty warm and connected and attuned person. I'm not a huge animal person. I'm surrounded by animal people. Everyone in my family are all animal people. And I just wasn't raised.
Not like centaurs, but like
no.
Like,
I mean, I don't think so. Time will tell. But our sweet Manny was abandoned. We live pretty far in the woods and clearly had been abandoned out here. And our neighbors found him and we took him in, and he's just the most lovable floof ever to exist. Like we all, like when you get home at the Harrison household, you go like, people say, "Where's Manny?" And then they go find him if he's in his little bed or whatever. And yeah, it's really, I'm a Manny person.
So growing up, I always wanted an orange cat. I wanted a Garfield. That's what it was.
Yeah.
I wanted a cat that I could feed lasagna to.
Yes.
And I've heard so much about orange cats. I don't know if you've seen the memes about orange cats. Like orange cats are sort of like these tricksters, or they get into trouble quite a bit. Is Manny like that?
Not particularly. Everyone in my house is a little mischievous, so I might just blend in with everyone else. We're big like April Fool's people, and we've been told before that our house is just not boring. Lots of big personalities in our family, and Manny fits right in with that.
All right. Is he sorry, I really like cats. You said floof, but like, is he a chunky boy?
He's long haired and he's enormous. Like the vet told us he's not Maine Coon, but he looks like he could be. He's that big. Okay.
All right. I'm going to have to go search through your Facebook to find pictures of your cat.
You'll find him.
All right. So we've got our Eastern Mass, we've got the cat, and I'm looking at my list of notes here. And then a really important part of your life, and I say important just because I've seen you really shine in this area, is the work that you do professionally.
Yeah.
And so what got you interested in working with children and families?
Funny story. I went to undergrad, as I referenced, I went to Westfield State. Go Owls. I love Westfield. And I got my undergrad. I had a dual degree in English with a theater concentration. And elementary. Yes. Theater weirdo. I'm surprised you didn't sniff it out already.
Well, we haven't talked about the puppets yet.
This is true. We'll get to the puppets, people. We'll get to the puppets. My other degree was in elementary ed. And I finished my degree and I did my student teaching and realized I was not a teacher. I loved kids. I have nothing but respect for classroom teachers. I think they have one of the hardest jobs on earth, and one of the most meaningful jobs. And it wasn't for me. I was constantly drawn to the kids who were getting in trouble, the ones who were having a hard time sitting in their chair, the ones who were coming in and what we would kind of think of as like negatively seeking attention and then really feeding off of the positive attention they were given. And so I had a little bit of a, not even quarter life crisis, because I was 22. I cut off like 2 feet of my hair and told my parents, I can't be a teacher. I'm going to just figure this out. And I got a job at a therapeutic after school program working with kids who struggled socially, emotionally, behaviorally. And I loved it. I felt like I found my place. So I worked for a couple years and then I went back to grad school and just continued sort of my path of learning and honing my skills as a counselor and, really deepening my skill set to support kids and families. And about 12 years ago, I landed in my current position where I get to really do a combination of working with kids and families, which I love and I never want to stop doing. And then I also get to supervise staff to really teach and train them how to work with our families. And then I get to work on an administrative level to, be really thoughtful about where are the programs that a supervisor at and how we can expand and, how we can really make sure that the work that we're doing honors the families that we work with and walk alongside them in their path. And we could have an entire podcast about how passionate I am about this work and how lucky I feel to be able to do this.
Our overlap with your professional work is actually a really, really, really large reason of why I invited you on the show. And so to get into that a bit, you were invited because, oh my God, I can feel my heart racing so fast thinking about why you were invited. Now, I have to check my heart rate. Okay, heart rate is measuring at any second 116.
Oh my goodness.
And it's usually 65. So am I nervous? Am I excited? Who knows? Okay. Catch the breath. Okay. You were invited because, really simply put, you are just such an amazing person. And I'm going to add clinician to that. Aww. I've had the opportunity to see you when doing some filming related stuff, connect with Maria. And when you've been doing other promotional materials, like first of all, it's literally like the tone of your voice is just so comforting. And how kind you are. And that kindness continues even like when people aren't looking. And I'm using like air quotes here, but like when you're not in the spotlight or delivering some message to someone or in a therapy session, the door shuts. It's not like, oh, I can take my face off. It's like you are consistently just such a nice person. Aww. And I think about it very often in the work that you do, because I just think, man, these families and these kids are so lucky to have Amanda. And I think about, now I have kids and thinking about the clinicians I would want them to go to. I don't think there's anybody out there that's like you. And I mean that genuinely. You're so nice.
That is really
so caring, so kind, so authentic. And I don't get any sense of that it's a show at all.
That I feel like we can just stop now because you just made me feel like I could explode. My sort of goal in life is to lead with kindness, because I feel like if you start from kindness, so much more is possible, right? Than starting from a judgmental place or an uneven place or a hierarchical place, that I don't, when someday when my time on earth has come to an end and I look back, I feel like, I'll be proud of what I accomplished professionally, and I'll be proud of my family, and I'll be proud of, my house or whatever things you think of that people are proud of. But I really hope that I can look back and be like, I was really kind to people and they felt it, and they deserved it and they were able to receive it. So that means so much that you just said that, truly.
I hope you see it, because I see it. And I know the people I've talked to who know you definitely see it. Even when I came in here this morning into the studio and I was talking to Jackson, who works here, I was like, oh, Jackson, I'm interviewing Amanda. And he said, oh, is she weird? And I said, well, yeah, she's such a nice person. Isn't that weird? That someone could be so kind. And so he was like, yeah, she is really so nice. And so we just had this little conversation about it is so weird to find someone who is so authentically just like a bright light. And I've seen you, and I don't know if this is the autistic side of me or just when you look at the sun, you can't stop looking at the sun thing. But when I see you interact with Maria, when we've done some recordings, I'm studying how you do it. You just meet people where they are.
I feel like I'm an inherently curious person. I have been since I was little. I was why sort of. And I feel like that translates really well into relationships with people and communicating with people, right? So really wondering, like, why are they saying that? Why are they feeling that way? Why are they acting this way? Without judging whatever the answer is, but truly, if something starts to go in a direction that I wasn't anticipating, you have two options, right? To shut it down or to be curious why it's going that way and see if it's something to follow. That's something I've been able to really use in my professional life, but also in my personal life, to just kind of show up for people when I can and be curious about their experiences and extend the kindness to them that I would hope they would extend to me. And guess what? It happens reciprocally, Yeah. Thank you too. That was very kind of you to say. It makes me feel really warm and fuzzy.
Welcome. I think about, well, first of all, in my head, I keep circling around this idea of like, sometimes I find myself going like, what would Amanda do? Not like me, but like you, like thinking about being kind and the non-judgmental piece. And I definitely like want to tell you that I do hold you in high regard. And so I do see you as like, I would love to be more like you. And so that really thinking, yeah, what would Amanda do is a very real thought for me, just so that, not in a creepy way, but just in a compassionate, and especially thinking about the world that we live in these days and how challenging it really is to hold the light. And so I too find it natural to be curious and to wonder and to not go to that judgmental place. And at the same time, the world is difficult and it can be draining. And so how do you balance like holding onto hope and holding not necessarily onto optimism, because it's really just the hope and the reality that there is possibility and potential in all things, while also, experiencing the realities of the world. Like, how do you balance that?
Personally, I allow myself to experience all kinds of emotions. I don't try and shut down when I want to cry. I'm a crier. I feel like my emotional process is to actually feel the emotions, recognize the emotions, move through the emotions, and then get out on the other side of it. Because stunting them, can work for some people and it can work in the short term. But I think to maintain hope and optimism and positivity in a world and a climate that really doesn't foster that, I feel like I've had to just allow myself all of the experiences, all of the emotional experiences, and also, hold boundaries for myself. I can't have the news on all the time. There are times where I'm like, I know this horrible thing is happening in the world and I can't focus on that because I just had a really hard day at work and I need my energy to go into how am I going to support my client, or my kid needs me today. And so I'm going to focus my energy there. I have a tendency to be a yeser and to, volunteer for things and help with things because I truly want to help. But I think my work is around really figuring out that I can't do everything for everyone all the time as much as I want to. And in order to give the things that are truly important to me what they deserve, I have to be able to say no or hold boundaries or, redirect my energy so that it can go to things that really, I feel like, feed me as an individual. And sometimes that is like taking care of other people. It feels very good to me to volunteer my time. It feels good to me to drop a meal off to someone who needs it. And so if I'm too spread out over too many things, I don't have the energy to do the things that really, make me feel grounded and complete. I don't know if that answered your question.
Yeah. And I can relate to some of what you're saying too, I almost think about like my dad used to always say, if you're going to do something, do it right. And so the idea of like, if you're spread out so much, like how much can you actually do versus really, like you said, like having very clear boundaries and recognizing what your needs are and what energy you'll have left in order to give back to other things.
I feel like if I had an epitaph on my my gravestone at some point, which No, I will be put into the ocean at some point. Let's have that on the record here on this podcast. Okay. The mermaid returns to the ocean.
Return her to the sea. Yes.
I'm really not comfortable with mediocrity for myself. And so part of my work is like excelling where I can. And the other part is being like, it's okay though to not need to be showing up 100% in every place, because just like you said, you actually can't do that, right? Like you can't show up 100% everywhere all the time. The numbers don't number.
What is restorative for you? What brings you joy?
Other than Manny the cat.
I think it's also great. In my head, I'm imagining he's a manatee. I don't know why. He's to me like this very large orange cat that like almost can't move.
And he's got the man in his name. Yeah. I did want, you do those personality assessments, the Myers-Briggs, all that. And I remember the first time I did one, it said I was an INFJ, which said that I was an introvert. And I was like, what? I am I do theater and I'm comfortable talking in front of people and I love relationship and connection. But the introvert in me is the part that I really need to recharge on my own afterward. So I'm this funny combination of like, I love going out and doing like book club with my girls. I'll sing karaoke. I love to like try new places. I'm also a super homebody. So I love to be curled up on the couch and reading a book, or, just being with my family and making a meal and enjoying it together. So for me, I'm a Gemini. So it's the balance of like doing things out with people and excitement, and then also coming back and recharging in my quiet little house in the woods.
That's funny that you're an INFJ because I'm an INFJ.
Stop it.
I really am. They're very rare. We're rare people.
I know. That's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, just more reasons to be like you.
And for the record, when you were talking earlier, I have so many people in my own head that I think like, what would they do here? What decision would they make here? I got a shirt for Christmas and I literally thought of this person that I respect their style. And I was like, what would she wear with this shirt? And guess what? It looked awesome. I never would have thought of this combination, but I channeled my friend that I respect.
Oh my gosh. So you're very kind, very nice. You're very silly. You're also very smart. And I started to wonder, like, because you're like such a good person, do you get angry? Like,
oh my gosh.
What does mean Amanda look like? Like when you're like heated, like what are the things I guess that fire you up?
Oh yeah, I get angry. Everybody gets angry. That's one of the first things I talk to people about actually in therapy is like every emotion is okay. Every emotional response you have to anything is okay. It's what you do with it that we need to work on, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh yes. Yep.
So I get pissed off on the regular.
I guess like what are some pet peeves?
My personal pet peeves, I think, are when people are mean, like when you're just not thinking about your impact on other people. Someone at work has helped me to realize that one of my other edges is people who are entitled. My personal, like growing up, my family of origin, my mom, my dad, my sister, and I were totally comfortable. We were fine. My parents worked very hard. My dad was one of 12 kids. Yes, wow. 12. And they really struggled in a lot of ways. And there was a ton of love and not a ton of resources. And I was just really raised with the ethos of you work hard to get what you want, right? You get what you get and you don't have a fit, but you can get more if you work harder. And so I've never been afraid to roll up my sleeves and work hard. And, I've worked in mental health. I've worked in ice cream stores. I've waitressed. I've cleaned houses. I'm not afraid to scrub a toilet, and I think that probably gets under my skin really hard when people don't see the value in working for what they should have. And I don't mean people who are not able-bodied. I'm not talking about people who truly need the support. I will be the first one to fight for those who are less fortunate to have the supports that they need. I'm sort of more like when, if we're doing a group project and someone's just like not doing their share, but still thinks they're entitled to the A, that's sort of what I'm talking about. So that, I've noticed as I've gotten older that that's something that frustrates me. And I hate when people talk with phlegm in their throat. It induces rage in a way that you could probably help me with as an OT. That's probably my biggest trigger.
I think I really liked how, very serious conversation, and then bubbles under the surface is this rage about phlegm in the throat. Oh my gosh. Yeah. That's good stuff. So, being mean. Yeah. The entitlement. And again, like you're saying, not like an ableist sort of perspective.
No, I will fight for the rights of those who are othered in any way, as loud as I can. It's more sort of the I'm not really going to pull my share here because I don't really feel like it, or because I don't have to, because you're going to pull it for me.
And I imagine, like you were saying earlier, that there's still a level of curiosity. So it probably takes a little bit to get to that point, because you're probably wondering, I wonder what could be happening where this person is not able to participate or to do. And then it's sort of like, okay, I've been as curious as I could possibly be. And this is still happening. Now I'm a little frustrated.
Yeah, I've by the time I get to that point, I've usually been curious about it. If I'm thinking about in a professional context, I've been curious about it. I've offered suggestions about it. I've maybe offered support around it. I've sort of tried to work with the issue as much as I can. And then when I think it's when I get to the place that I'm like, oh, they just don't care. And maybe it's because then that feels like a relational response. You know what I mean? It feels like, oh, they know that if they don't do this thing, I'm going to have to do this thing. So then I feel like this is probably an actual relational, emotional response to it. It's no longer about the thing. It's about the relationship.
I'm curious to know, are you weird? Aside from the lumberjack competition, what sort of things make you weird, or what do you think is weird, or how do you interpret weird?
I am definitely weird, and I love weird. I think we spend our young lives and our adolescence, trying to be like everyone else and trying to fit in and not wanting to do anything that makes us stand out. And I can speak for myself. That was definitely true. Really wanting to have a sense of belonging through being sort of the same. Right. And I think that part of maturing is realizing no, that stuff that you think makes you weird is actually what makes you awesome. And it's what's actually going to draw the other awesome people to you when you can let those parts of yourself no longer be parts of embarrassment or something that you feel like you need to sort of hide away, but you can celebrate and share and find other people who get excited about that same thing. So yeah, I'm definitely weird. I'm definitely happy I'm weird. My favorite people on earth are weird. And I really wouldn't want it any other way.
It is really great to get to this place in life where you actually can celebrate weird.
Yeah.
Because you're right. For so long, there's sort of this messaging of fit the norm, don't stand out too much. Mm-hmm. And again, speaking from my experience, the friends that you make are really nice in that, but it's really those people who are authentic and do those weird things that you can really connect with.
Yeah. Yeah.
Instead of playing it safe.
Yeah.
Some of this, like you said, all of my favorite people in this world are all absolute weirdos.
Yes. And I hope that everyone who is a good friend of mine who hears this knows that I say that with deep, deep love, that I love all of my weirdos.
Yes. It's a term of endearment.
Yes.
It's endearing to call someone weird.
Stay weird.
Yes, stay weird. Is there anything else that you would like to share with our listeners? I feel like we've been chatting for a bit, but I feel like I could talk to you forever. There's so much stuff that I want to deep dive into, but time only allows for so much. So is there anything else that you'd like to share with the folks that are listening?
Yeah, I guess if I could share something, it might be just a challenge to people. I don't know if there's a place for that.
Absolutely.
Imagining what it would be like if you did lead with kindness, and if you did lead with curiosity and trying it and practicing it, because it's really not hard. It might feel foreign at first, but I just think about the world that we're in and the world that our kids are in. And I think about how sometimes it can feel like one person can't possibly have an impact because there's so much going on and it's all so large and it's all so stressful. But I just feel like it actually does matter. The little kindnesses do matter. They do have a ripple effect. It is contagious to, be kind to other people. And the more you practice it, I think the easier it gets too. The more you get comfortable with entering into a genuine conversation with someone instead of just a surface level, hi, how are you? Small talky sort of thing. The more you do that, the easier it gets. And so to practice that, that would be my challenge, my call to action, if you will.
I do love a call to action. Makes me think of the idea of like, sometimes, we feel like we can't make as big of a difference as we hope, like on that big global level, let's say. But some of the biggest impacts we can have are local to the people that we meet each and every day. So making those small adjustments and, like you said, leading with kindness and being curious has that ripple effect where, if you do it to one person, that person carries it on. Like that can create really massive change.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a wrap on this episode of But Are You Weird? Thank you so much to Amanda for letting us get to know you and showing us your weird and wonderful and super kind self. And thanks to you for tuning in and getting weird with us. As always, I'm so glad that you're here. If you enjoyed this episode, please follow, leave a comment, or share it with your favorite curious mind. Until next time, stay curious, stay kind, and definitely stay weird.